I'm Tamsen Horton. I am a lawyer who runs businesses or a business owner with a law degree, whichever way you want to look at it. But I basically help people create time and ideas and then make sure we keep them safe. So what I'm going to share with you, I am not a lawyer that practices drone law at all. So if you have one, if you are really concerned about this, if you're going to be using this, then I want you to make sure that you reach out to somebody that will practice in drone law. I do not practice drone law, but this is what you have got to know. So before you start using that hashtag drone and start scoping, which let me tell you from a law enforcement standpoint, it is going to be so easy. That hashtag feature that's going to make it so easy to watch drone scopes and GoPro scopes is also going to make it very, very easy for law enforcement to find you. So this is not something you want to shuffle under, like be like, oh, that doesn't really matter. It's gonna matter, and it's gonna matter big time, and it's gonna be really, really easy for them to find you. Now, the reason this is important, and this went into effect December of 15, right around when everyone was getting drones for Christmas, the Federal Aviation has, the FAA has a registration law, and this law went into effect. It is a criminal penalty law. This is not like, this isn't just civil penalties. I'll get to that. But you're gonna say, okay, specifically what count, the definition of what's gonna count as a drone is a flying device that is controlled by either an onboard computer, by a remote that you would hold in your hand, by a computer that might not necessarily be on board, or by your smartphone. So that's what they've classified as a drone. Now, the reason that they're having people register is, again, law is cleanup crew, you guys. Law, business, and tech developed drones, and law is still going to be trying to figure out where these come into play. But mainly, the government's really concerned about violation to privacy. There's all kinds of cases that I had to read in law school when people would fly, they weren't drone, well, they were probably primitive drones at that point. But they would fly them over fences, and you run into all kinds of Fourth Amendment rights here in the US. The other part is the danger to interfering with aircraft. You'll see in just a minute when I tell you the specifics. You've got to keep these things under 400 feet. So it's about a 30 to 40 story building, but you cannot interfere with aircraft. You also can't interfere with fire departments, people, police helicopters. Drones are cool, and everyone wants to get the footage that's going to end up on YouTube, that's going to go viral, which is going to, rocket them to stardom. But unfortunately, you cannot interfere with rescue efforts, with legitimate, parts of our life, and that is happening. So that's why they're registering, is if, you take down a police helicopter, they're gonna want to know whose drone that was. So if you have a drone, this is a really easy way to remember it. It's if the drone weighs more than 0.55 of a pound and is under 55 pounds, over 55 pounds, you have a totally different registration thing that you have to do. But more than 2 sticks of butter. So if your drone is more than 2 sticks of butter, you are required to do this. It's not optional. It is an absolute requirement. Now, your drone might not be 2 sticks of butter, but then you put a camera on it. The camera counts in that minimum weight. So make sure, I said 2 sticks of butter is not a lot. Especially for people that I think are going to use it on Periscope and stuff like that. Just make sure you understand that whatever camera you're putting on there, that counts in the weight. Now, when you are doing this, if you are a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, you will register by clicking on one part of the site. If you're not a U.S. resident or legal permanent resident, you also have to register, but there's a different certification part that you click through. Good part is, this is not expensive. It is $5 to register for 3 years. You go to this website, It's registermyuas.faa.gov. So it's not cost prohibitive, but when you see the penalties, that $5 can quickly skyrocket to $250,000. What you will get, you'll get an actual certificate when you are asked by law enforcement, and they can ask you to provide your registration form, like if they see you out flying it or, doing whatever. Like I said, it's going to be easy for us to find the drone scopes on Periscope, and it's going to be easy for law enforcement to find the people scoping using a drone. So that you can either provide a paper or a digital copy. And if you give it to your friends, make sure that you give them the registration. So it travels with the drone. So if you give it to buddies and they're playing around with it, make sure they have the registration for that. Okay, this is what happens if you don't register. If you say, it slips your mind or you don't do it. Problem is, this is not civil. It's criminal penalties. So, flying your drone without registering is up to 3 years in jail and up to $250,000 fine. So this is not, please don't play around with this. It's $5 to register it for 3 years. If you're going to be scoping and you're going to be posting, even if you're not, even if you're just using your drone, make sure that okay, it's way less than 2 sticks of butter. I don't have to worry about it. Or over 2 sticks of butter, make sure you register. So you want to make sure you register, then fly it. Don't fly it before you register. Just don't. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Keep it under 400 feet. Keep it in your eyesight. Don't let it, because you don't want, these things could take down, they could interfere with, power lines. They could interfere with helicopters. You wouldn't want to cause an accident anyhow, but you really just keep it in your eyesight, and then obviously don't fly it around airports. Also, don't fly it into a sports stadium or a concert venue where there's large groups of people. Keep it out of that. Don't fly it in there. There could be, besides the FAA, you could run into all kinds of other trouble issues. So if you want more information like this, this is not a webinar. Bizzlebox Jam Sessions is something I have created. It's designed to keep business owners out of sticky situations. It's business and legal. You log in, there's no emails that come to you, and it's totally free. So I'm going to be adding the information about drones and scoping based on the outcome now that they're going to be adding that. So that is what I wanted you guys to know what to do before you use your drone or hashtag drone and go on Periscope and broadcast it to the whole world.